Hi, and welcome to the virtual learning party for teacherpreneurs. My name is Anna Montiel. I run the store To the Fourth and Beyond. I also have an Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and a website, tothefourthandbeyond.com. So be sure to check me out on there. The session I'm going to be bringing you now is called Creating and Listing Digital Resources for Use with Google Apps. We're going to specifically be going through how to create, digital resources for Google Slides. And be sure to also check out my previous session during the virtual learning party for teacherpreneurs. It's called Step by Step Creation of Resources Using PowerPoint. And it is extremely helpful to know those tips and tricks before this session. So I highly recommend that you watch that one first. However, no matter where you are in your teacher's paid teacher's journey, I feel like you're definitely going to get something out of this session. This training has been designed to help you create paperless resources for teachers who have one-to-one devices and then post those resources on to Teachers Pay Teachers. So I'm going to be walking you through the creation of the digital resources. I won't be showing you how I create the resources first using PowerPoint because I have already done that in my previous session. So I will be showing you mostly the Google side of resource creation during this session. Remember though, everything that we're creating during this session is under copyright protection. So please do not take these ideas and then go create your own resource that looks identical to the ones I will be showing you today. So let's get to creating. Hi, and welcome to Creating and Listing Digital Resources for Use with Google Applications. Before we get started, I definitely recommend that you check out my session that was posted before this one, which is step-by-step creation of resources using PowerPoint. It includes all of the essential skills you need to be successful when creating digital resources. So, we're going to start the session out by going through an overview of all the Google applications. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. This session will focus mostly on Google Slides. Then we're going to talk about what a digital or Google resource should include in the instructions when a buyer on Teachers Pay Teachers goes and downloads your product. What should they see, and what kind of directions should you be giving them? Then we're going to go through a couple examples of resources for Google Classroom. Then we're going to talk about the posting options that you have and the different ways that you can post digital resources onto the Teachers Pay Teachers platform. We're also going to talk about how you can create templates for your digital resources using PowerPoint, how to save those templates as images, how to insert them into Google Slides, then how to create text boxes and create movable objects within Google applications. Then we're just going to wrap up the session. I actually have a freebie, so if you make it all the way to the end, you'll learn how to grab that freebie. So who am I? As I said in my introduction, I'm Anna. I run the brand To the Fourth and Beyond, and I am here to help you. That's kind of my motto. I love helping other people be successful, and if you have questions or comments throughout the session, be sure to add them to the comments and I will get back to them as fast as I can. And also feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or through Facebook or email. Any questions you have, whether they're about Teachers Pay Teachers or just teaching in general, I am here to help you. Again, so to connect, Instagram is the best way to reach me. My handle on there is To the Fourth and Beyond, or you can go to my website, tothefourthandbeyond.com, and it has all of the ways to contact me as well. So in this session, you need to have Microsoft PowerPoint. You also are going to need to have a Google login or a Google account so that you can have access to Google Drive. to give credit where credit is due, throughout this presentation, you're going to see fonts by these four amazing ladies. The first one is A Perfect Blend, Amanda Newsom. BB Fonts by Mrs. Fifth, KA Fonts, and Amy Grosbeck Fonts. Then I have to do a special shout out to Kimberly Gershwin. Her KG fonts are what got me started on my Teachers Pay Teachers journey. If she had not offered these fonts as a personal freebie, where you could use them with a personal license for free, I don't think I would have ever gotten started with Teachers Pay Teachers. So thank you so much, Kimberly. My favorite clip art creators are EduClips, Creative Clips, and Kate Hatfield. Throughout this session, you will see clip art by Creative Clips. And it's time to get started. So ask any questions in the comments and I will try to answer them all to the best of my ability. If you want to ask me a question privately, or you just think about it in 2 weeks and you can't find the session, then be sure to go follow me on Instagram at To the Fourth and Beyond. And then I also have a website at just tothefourthandbeyond.com. And also be sure to go follow my Teachers Pay Teachers store. I do have a freebie for Teachers Pay Teachers sellers on there, and definitely go check that out. So let's get started. Hey, so welcome back. The first thing we're going to go over during this session is just basic Google applications and what Google applications are. So as you can see, if you look at my desktop or my screen, I'm using a G-Site Google login. This is my school one, so it's provided by my school district, but I do have a personal one. You don't necessarily have to have that, but I feel like a lot of people have recommended that you upgrade to the business Google account if you're going to be creating a ton of Google resources. I don't use my school account to create my resources. I just happened to open this and that was what I was logged into. So we're just going to go over what the there's 4 of the most used Google apps. And those are right here. When you click new, you have your Google Documents, which is just a basic Word document. Then you have your Google Sheets, which is just a basic spreadsheet. Your Google Slides, which is just a basic PowerPoint or slideshow application. And then when you click on more, you have your Google Forms, your Google Drawings, your Maps, your Sites, and Pear Deck, which is an extension you can add onto your Google Drive. So we're going to be focusing mainly on Google Slides today. But I'm also going to kind of mention Google Sheets and Google Forms. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to basically look at what those digital resources look like. Okay. So the first Google application that we are going to look at a little more in depth is going to be Google Sheets. You are fully able to edit Google Sheets and then sell those templates that you have created in Google Sheets onto Teachers Pay Teachers. So this is my lesson plan. This is not my original idea to do my lesson plans in Google Sheets. I actually saw Mrs. Fifth do it on Instagram, and then I had to do it myself. And I even used her fonts. So this is just kind of a lesson plan template that I created for myself, and I just entered or inserted images into each box. To make the images, I used PowerPoint, and I just did a small black square and I put the day of the week, and then I saved that as an image. So if you have questions and you want to know how to do that, I'd be happy to share a tutorial of that on my Instagram, but just let me know because I hate to waste my time and do something that no one's really interested in. So again, just let me know if you're interested in that. So this is kind of how you can use Google Sheets to create data forms or lesson plan templates or all of the things that a teacher might need and then sell them as a digital resource. The next thing is Google Sheets. I'm sorry, not Google Sheets, Google Forms. In Google Forms, you are able to create gradable quizzes or one press of the button grade, and you can insert answer keys. And this is a an assessment, reading assessment I created when I taught fourth grade called Do You Get Enough Sleep? I believe I found this reading passage from like News ELA or some other, and I wanted to make it digital without having to pay for it. So I just created a Google form. And there are many, many sellers out there today who sell resources that are just Google Forms. A lot of products I have purchased myself are math Google Forms so that I don't have to sit and grade 100 math tests whenever I give my classes a math test. So that is, this is one example of how you can use Google applications to create assessments. The thing that we're going to be focusing most of our attention on today are Google Slides resources. And that's just because that's where I am an expert. I make Google Slide assignments and activities for my classes all the time. It's one of my favorite ways to assess my students, and it's one of my students' favorite ways to interact on their Chromebooks. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a vocabulary assignment that I created for the reading curriculum that we use in my school district. And I noticed that it's not matching up. I think it is lesson 9. So this is lesson 9, Storm Warriors vocabulary. It was just a vocabulary assignment that I gave to my class. And first I created the template using PowerPoint, and then I inserted each PowerPoint slide as an image into this Google slideshow. I provided a title, and then my students would type their name here. The second page just tells my students that if they accidentally delete a slide, that they just need to press Control-Z immediately and the slide will come back. Then the second or the third slide is just directions for them, telling them what they need to do to complete the assignment. The fourth slide is the assignment itself. So I want them to provide a definition, and I want them to use a vocabulary word in a sentence. And then they can either draw a picture using the shapes up here, which I always teach my class, all of the essentials of digital design, because I'm so passionate about it. I want my class to know what I'm passionate about. So I always teach them about digital design, and they love it. So a lot of them do use the shapes to try and draw their own pictures. So here's one example of how teachers use digital resources in Google Slides to assess their students or to provide activities for their students. Another way that I have utilized Google Slides in my classroom is I created this video games opinion performance task. Now, I have not reached the level of Teachers Pay Teachers where I am yet writing my own reading passages. So I am still using a lot of outside sources for reading passages, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I just created this for my students. This is more of a hyper document than it is a digital paperless resource, but it's still the same concept, so I wanted to share it. So it gives my students directions. I have worded these directions based off the state test that is given in my state, which is the Smarter Balanced assessment. Then here are their sources. I have my students read 4 sources before they write anything or any compositions. And these are the 4 sources. So what I've done here is I have saved each source and hosted it in my Google Drive. Then I go and I get a share link for that source, and I just link each shape with that share link. And then my students can click and it will open the source that I want them to read in a PDF so that they can use the information from this text as information for their opinion essay. Now, you are fully able to do this and then sell it as a Google resource on Teachers Pay Teachers if you've written these reading passages yourself, or you're using public domain reading passages. So this is absolutely an option for when you're creating a digital resource. You can create it the same exact way and then post it and sell it. And then I give a spot for each source for my students to take notes on those sources. Then I give them a pre-writing graphic organizer, a space for them to do their rough draft. Then I give them directions to do their final draft. And you could totally make this editable so that any teacher can go in and put their own directions. So before we move on to the next resource that we are going to look at, I want to first remind everyone that everything that you're viewing here is under copyright. So please do not take these resources and recreate them word for word, square for square, and then post them yourself in your own store. So please be original in the ideas that you come up with. And I'm going to show you now my biggest, newest project. I am so proud of it, and I finished it just for this session. So I'm going to show you that now. Okay, so I'm super excited to share with you my first, or one of my first, and my newest digital resource. And this is what it looks like in Google Slides. So I have already inserted all of the images, done all of the text boxes in this document. We're just going to go through and reverse engineer it so I can show you all of the components. And then we're going to go create our own demo of a digital document. So let me show you what is included in this document. So slides 1 and 2 are my terms of use and my contact information. I always try to include this in the slideshow that the teachers will be downloading, not just in the PDF that they download, because it's really important to me that teachers understand that there are a terms of use with every product that they purchase, and they need to make sure they've taken the time to read those. I've also included, because I can't put links on here, a link to the clip art artist, Creative Clips, who I used in this resource down at the bottom, so I can make sure I give her proper credit. And then again, I've also included links to my contact information below in the slide notes as well, so that buyers can view that information. Then I just included a title. Teachers can decide to leave this on when they share this with students, or they can delete it. It's totally up to them. Then I kind of provide what they will find within this resource, and I will include the same information in the product description when I post this resource on to Teachers Pay Teachers. Then I provided some cover pages by grade level for teachers to use with their students, and their students will write their names right up here. Then I have provided teachers with 2 monthly templates. There's one for every month of the year. There's a photos of the month, and then there is a monthly reflection journal. So here I have put text box on every single slide, and the way that you do that is you set one text box and then you just copy it onto every slide with that same template. So I will show you that now. So September, and then again you have the same text box. Here students can actually use the insert image, and they can use their Chromebooks, their iPad, their iPhone, or the web to take images or find images that they want to include on their photos of the month. They can also take photographs of their work, and I've included templates for that in this resource as well. So here are all the months, and I'll just go through it with you. They are the same templates for every month, and then we have writing templates. All of the subject templates are the same, except writing and reading have 2 unique templates that are just for them. But each subject has a beginning of the year reflection, middle of the year, and end of the year. Writing samples, this is the unique template to writing. There is a writing sample log, so that students can log their writing samples. There's assignment planners for each subject, standard-based goals per grade level for each subject. There's an assignment snapshot so that students can take pictures of their assignments and then insert them into the template. Again, this is under copyright protection. Please don't go out and copy these digital portfolios. I'm really just using this as a way to show you all of the amazing ways you can create digital resources for teachers. So this is the whole entire resource. It just goes through. I have over 100 pages for teachers to use however they want to use these as a digital portfolio for their classes. So now let's get into how did I create this? So how did I make this? And you'll notice as we get through these videos, my hair is just gonna get crazier and crazier. But anyways, how did I make this digital portfolio resource? So the first thing that I did is I made all of the templates. And in fact, right here, right now, I'm going to make another template because I did forget to put a non-grade level cover. Um, and I'm doing this so that this resource will be more versatile for all teachers, including those that aren't in the United States that don't necessarily have grade levels, or maybe those that are homeschooling. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of this and I'm going to save this as an image. When you're creating these resources, after you've made every single template in your PowerPoint um, template version or your PowerPoint file or your PowerPoint slideshow, whatever you want to call it, you will go to File, Save as Pictures. Now I only need to save this one image, so I'm just going to select the part that says Save Current Slide Only instead of the Save Every Slide. If you are saving this as you want to save every single slide because you're putting all of them into the Google Slideshow, then you would select this right here. Now, when you're creating Google presentations or you're taking a PowerPoint slideshow and you're making it a Google slideshow, you want to make sure that your images are of the highest quality possible. So this is the highest quality possible on my computer, so that's what I'm going to go to. And I want the image quality to be the best. And then I'm going to press OK. I'm going to save this as no grade cover. And I'm just going to save it into my downloads folder because I won't need it after I do this. Then I'm going to go back into my Google resource and I'm going to go back up to the covers. I'm going to insert a blank slide by going up here and clicking blank slide. This is how you create all Google resources, is you are going to insert the images that you saved from your Microsoft PowerPoint to, you're going to add them as the background to your slides on your Google Slideshow. The only thing that, or the most important thing about the process of doing this is to make sure that your PowerPoint, your Microsoft PowerPoint slideshow, and your Google slideshow have the same exact size slides. So if you're going to create, you're going to take one of your current resources and you're going to make it digital and it's the size of a piece of paper, then in Google Slideshow, you would do the exact same thing that you did in your in your Microsoft PowerPoint. You would go to page setup and you would set this as a custom, and then you would set the inches as the same exact measurement as your original PowerPoint. So that makes it really easy. So now that I have added that and I've shown you how you do the background, we're going to make an original document or an original digital resource. So I have created these sight word puzzle pieces because I want to show you how to incorporate movable objects as well as tables and text boxes. So real quick, I'm just going to edit this and I'm going to delete everything that's in this table because I want to show you how to incorporate the text boxes and the tables. Now that I have saved or have done that, I'm just going to go to File, Save as Pictures. I am going to go to Options and I'm going to change the options to save every file. I am going to keep them as JPEG and I'm going to keep it. It's Demo Google Documents it's going to put it all in one folder for me. So wait for that, and it's done putting that in the folder. So now I'm just going to open that folder up. Don't mind my super messy desktop right now. I'm going to open that folder. Then I'm going to go back to Chrome and go to my drive, and I'm going to create a Google slideshow. I need to go check at what were the measurements of this slide. So I'm going to go to page setup in the PowerPoint. It's a 10 by 7.5, which is just a 4 by 3 on-screen show. Oops. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to File, Page Setup. I'm going to change this to the standard 4 by 3 and I'm going to apply. Get rid of this themes box. I'm going to give my presentation a title. I'm going to call it just Demo Digital Resource. Excuse my dog. Then I'm going to delete the text boxes. Now we are officially ready to create our digital resource. So to do this, I have all of my graphics in this handy dandy folder right here. They're labeled by slide for me, 1 through 5, so I only need 5 slides. So I'm going to go over to my Google slideshow and I'm going to copy using Command C or Control C, and then I'm going to paste that blank slide 5 times. Let's click on the first slide, background, choose image. Going to give you the box. It's going to say choose an image to upload or drag an image here, and it is so much faster if you drag an image. I'm going to drag my image, let it upload, press done, and voila, I currently have a digital resource where the background cannot be lifted and it cannot be moved around at all. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing for every slide. So for all 5 slides. Now, you can just pull the image straight into the slide, and I'll show you that here on slide 3. But it makes the image movable. And you notice it doesn't line it up perfectly, but you can move the image around and you can still create resources that way. It is much faster, but your content might not be or is not as protected as if you were to create it as a background. If I'm making a resource for my own classroom that is digital, a lot of the times to save myself time, I will just real quickly insert them as images and tell my students to not move them. But if you're selling the resource, I would definitely take the time to go through and add all of the images as the background image so that no one can take your images. So this is the main step to creating a digital resource. Now I'm going to show you how to add a template over your background. And this is super easy. So here, if we wanted teachers to be able to use their own sight words, I could have made that editable too, but it's too late now. So we could do it this way. We could put a text box over the word and then go here to the paint bucket and have it have a white fill and then put type here. And this is do not list a resource like this. I'm just kind of showing you we could have left that spot blank, and I should have now that I think about it, but it's too late now. So, and this is just a demo. So they can type their own sight words, and then I can go into Insert Table, and this is going to be a 4 by 4, which is the same size as this table down here, and then I can line it up perfectly with the lines and drag it out, and voila, now you have a table that you can then change the formatting of so that buyers don't have to do all this, and you can make it a little bigger. Let's try 18, and then buyers can type in each of their own individual sight words. So that is how you would incorporate text boxes, how you can incorporate tables into your digital documents. And I'm going to show you next how you would incorporate movable pieces. Now, before we get into movable pieces, I want to first say that be very careful that you're reading your clip artist's terms of use, because there are many clip artists out today that require you purchase an extended license to create digital documents with movable pieces using their clip art. So before you decide what clip art to use, make sure you are following all of the terms of use of your clip artist. So now we're going to go into movable pieces. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to create movable objects and matching games and more primary things. And then you can kind of take this session and go as far as you want to go with it, or, just create real simple things. It's totally up to you, but trust me, you can do any of the stuff that I've shown you, whether it's in this session or my first session all about product creation using PowerPoint. You can do this. Don't be afraid to mess around and make mistakes, because they created Control Z or undo for a reason. And like we tell our students, you're only, I don't know what we tell our students, but don't give up, okay? Like we tell our students, don't give up. So the way that you insert clip art into a Google document or Google slideshow is real simple. You can either insert it just like you do into a PowerPoint, which I showed in my first session, or you can just copy and paste it. So I'm in my Microsoft PowerPoint right now. I'm just going to copy this little sailboat, which is what I want the students to be able to move around whenever they are interacting with this digital resource. And then I'm going to go over to the digital resource. I'm going to paste the sailboat. Then I am going to make the sailboat just a little smaller, and I'm going to move it down here. Now I could put multiple pieces for the student to move around, and they could move all of the little sailboats, or I could there is no way to create a cloning piece or an infinity piece in Google Slides. Let me zoom in a little bit more. But there is a way to kind of make one, and that is to simply copy. I did Command C and then paste, and you can line up the shape and then do it again and again. And now I have 3, right? So I can highlight those 3. My computer's going slow. I can highlight those 3 little sailboats. Let me zoom out. I can highlight those 3 little sailboats. I'm just going to do all of them. And then I can line those up, and now I have 6 sailboats and 2 here, but let me get rid of this one. And so when students go to pick up a sailboat and put it over the correct word, there is another sailboat in place. And you can, layer on 100 objects so that they never run out of objects to move, or you could put them all in a line down here, and then when the student runs out of sailboats, they know that they are done with that page. Same concept here onto adding the movable objects. I have also added movable objects to this page. I already took the time to insert the clip art here. I did it the exact same way, just copied and pasted it right into the slide, or you could insert it as an image. So this, the objective of this slide is to match items, and so this could be used as a technology lesson for your kindergartners or your first graders. You could use this, not only could you use this on a Chromebook, but you could also use this type of template on an iPad or an iPhone or any computer that has access to Google Drive. And so students would simply just take the clip art, match it to each individual square, and it is a matching game to practice using the touch screen or practice using a mouse. So these are just some real simple ways that you can create Google resources to post on your Teachers Pay Teachers store. And the next thing we're going to talk about is going to be how do you post these resources and what kind of instructions do you provide your buyer when they buy this resource from you? So that will be the next thing that I go over. Okay, so before we go any further, I just want to go back to the session agenda and kind of update it a little bit because I am going in a little bit of a different order. So we have talked about everything from here up. So we went through the overview of the Google applications. I've taken you through multiple examples. I talked about how you can create templates using PowerPoints. Just when you're inserting those templates into your Google Slides, you need to make sure that the PowerPoint slide and the Google Slides are the same size and insert as a background. Then we talked about inserting images into Google Slides, adding text boxes and movable objects. And now we're going to talk about the Google resource instructions that you should provide with any digital resource. The next thing we're going to talk about after that is the ways that you can post your digital resources on to Teachers Pay Teachers, and then we'll wrap it up. So let's start talking about those instructions. So here is the portfolio PDF that PowerPoint I have started creating, or that I created. It is just the basic cover for the resource. Then again, it is the same thing that is included in the Google slide presentation will also be included in the portfolio that people can download off of Teachers Pay Teachers, and I'll show you more about that here in just a minute. Then I have provided a digital portfolio. This resource will only work with Google Apps. So I put that in red and I put it in all caps in a really bold font to make sure that my buyers have seen that. I will be including this as the preview of my product, because if people buy this thinking that it's just a PDF that they can download and then print, they will be wrong. It's only able to be used digitally. Then this is the most important thing you need to include either in your product description or in the PDF that your buyers will download, is how to access the resource. So students will need a Google account. They will have to be able to access the slideshow by, when they click on the link, it'll ask them to make a copy. They have to make a copy of the resource so that it'll be added to their Google Drive, and that's the teacher. Then the teacher can then share it with their students once they've made a copy. Also, it gives teachers another note that if they plan to remove pages, they need to make sure they have made a copy so that they have the original handy if they want to add pages that they possibly deleted in the future. Then the next page says access the resource by clicking the image below. So I've created this as a PDF. I printed it as a PDF from the PowerPoint, and this right here is just an image of the cover that I will be using as the product. So in the PDF, which I'm going to show you here in just a second, when my buyers click on this image, it takes them to a link that asks them to copy the resource. Then I have my terms of use and my connect page, and then I have my credits page. And this is what I saved as a PDF. So here it is as the PDF, 6 pages. And when my buyers click on this, it will automatically take them to a make a copy page. And they will click here where it says make a copy. So I'm going to show you how to get this link for your resources. So we're going to use the demo digital resource that we created to match symbols, and we're going to click up here where it says share. We are going to click right here where it says get shareable link. So this is the most essential part of creating a shareable digital resource, is right here. I need to change this because I want anyone with the link to be able to download. And then here I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to open a new tab. I am going to insert that, and right here, do you see where it says edit? you're going to delete that. You're going to leave everything else the same, and you are only deleting the word edit, and you are going to replace it in all lowercase with copy, C-O-P-Y, copy. Then you can copy that link, and it will take you to the same page I just showed you to make a copy of our demo digital resource. So that is how you create your share link for any digital resource that you then include in your PDF. Now, I only know of 2 ways to add a link to a PDF. One is using Keynote, 2 is using Adobe Pro. So that's where Teachers Pay Teachers' new digital resource linking comes in so handy, because now you don't have to have Adobe Pro or Keynote to list a digital resource. You don't have to create this PDF at all. This is 100% optional, so just know that you will need to be prepared to create a preview for your digital resource, but you don't necessarily have to create a PDF anymore that has a link to the resource. So this is just one of the options that you have for including instructions within the PDF of your resource, or like I've done and you have seen in my digital portfolio here, I have actually included almost everything about being able to use this resource, within the digital copy of the resource, because I'm going to show you here in a minute how I'm going to list this on Teachers Pay Teachers, and teachers won't need to download that PDF. So I'm not quite sure. I don't think I'm going to put how to access this resource, because if teachers can get to the digital resource, then they've accessed it and they don't really need to know, like, you must have a Google account, you must do this, because they evidently already have one if they're just downloading and buying Google resources off of Teachers Pay Teachers. So just make sure you're real clear in your product description that it's a digital resource and that your teachers or that your buyers must have Google Drive to use this resource. So I'm going to show you the 2 different ways here in just a minute about how you can go about posting these resources to Teachers Pay Teachers. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the 2 ways that you can list digital or Google resources onto Teachers Pay Teachers. So the first way is to do it like any old product. So you just go to add new product, and then you would do an online resource. So this is the new way to list from Google Drive. So this is not the old way. This is the new way to do it if you're just doing a Google Drive. So you would name your product. So this is going to be grade 3 through 6, or grades 3 through 6 digital portfolio for Google Slides. And then I'm going to go down here and I am going to actually paste this page to my description of my resource just for now. Hopefully that works. Yep. And this, because this, in my opinion right now, is the best description of what this resource is. After I have listed the resource, I am going to go in and revise and edit this resource to include more and explain to my buyers that they must have Google Classroom to use this resource. Actually, I can go copy and paste that second page that I have. That's all about this resource will only work. And I'm just going to do that real fast. So you can get rid of this, and then how to access. So then right here, it just says import your product. So it says each buyer will get a unique copy of your listed item. Any edits buyers make to their copies will not show up in your original files or in the copies that the buyers have. Don't delete your listed items from your Google Drive. So whichever Google Drive you're going to connect Teachers Pay Teachers to, you need to make sure that wherever you put those resources, you don't delete them from your Google Drive, or Teachers Pay Teachers will lose access to those files. Then you just click got it, and it will take you to sign in to your Google Drive. I'm going to use my business Google instead of my school Google. They wouldn't appreciate that. So I'm going to use my personal business Google. Then it's going to bring me to my Drive. It's going to show me, right now it's only showing me a copy of the digital portfolio. I would select the correct document, which is, this is not it, but I'm not going to save this. I would select that. It's going to upload it. I would provide a preview, a cover, thumbnails, which I have not created, but I'm just showing you the process of what you would have to do. Then you would want to set your price, choose your tax code, your grade levels. So for this, it's going to be 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Then I would select my subject areas, my resource types. It doesn't cover really any standards. I would need to choose my categories. There are over 70 pages, but there's only about 70 unique templates. So I'm going to put there are 70 plus pages. An answer key is not applicable. Well, can't speak. And then this is going to be actually a lifelong tool, and it does use some copyrighted or trademark materials. And then I would create the resource, and then Teachers Pay Teachers would handle giving links and downloading and all of that through this new Google interface. Now, the cool thing about this is any updates that you were to make to your product, as long as you didn't delete it, they would be included every time a new purchaser or someone went to re-download this resource. So the other way that you can post your digital resources, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. The second way that you can post your digital resources is, like I was saying, is using just the standard old way of posting resources, where you do a digital download and you have created, like I did, a PDF with the product link inside of it. So you have to have Adobe Pro or Keynote. There might be other ways to add product links into a file. If you know of ways to add a product link into a file that don't require Keynote or Adobe Pro, drop them in the comments of this session, please. That would be super helpful to all of us. So I'm going to upload this product using this PDF because I've taken the time to create it, and it has a little bit more detail for my buyer than the new interface for Teachers Pay Teachers might include for my buyer. So I am going to paste that description that I had, and we were calling this, we'll call it a digital portfolio for Google Slides, grades 3 through 6. And ta-da! So now I'm going to, and I can also create some, well, it'll at least give me a cover when I first initially post it when using the PDF. So I need to find my PDF. I have so many things going on right now. Okay, here it is. I will do a preview later. I will do my thumbnails later. I think right now I'm going to charge $4 for this. It's 70 pages and it's very useful. I cannot wait myself. The tax code is other physical goods, no physical media. Then I'm going to just select 3rd, 4th, 5th. The subject areas, select your subject areas, all those things, and then we'll be right back as soon as I post this. Okay, so we have officially posted our first, or my first, digital resource onto Teachers Pay Teachers. I went ahead and used the method where you do an original style post or product listing, and then you upload a PDF that has a link in it to to make a copy of the resource. You can also, like I showed you, use the Teachers Pay Teachers Google interface to also list any digital resource that you've created for, or that can be stored within Google drive. But remember, if you do it that way, you cannot delete the file. No, actually, no matter which way you post it, you cannot delete the file that you have used the link from. So make sure that you remember that. And I wanted just to say thank you so much for watching this session. And it has been a pleasure teaching and learning with all of you. Again, some of you might know more than I do about any or all of these topics, so be sure to leave that information in the comments of the video. I can't talk now, but good thing it's the end of my session. So thank you so much for watching this session. Again, any questions in the comments and I will try to answer them all to the best of my ability. If I don't know the answer, I'm sure someone watching does. And Instagram is the best way to reach me at To the Fourth and Beyond. You can also check out my website, which is To the Fourth and Beyond.com. And again, thank you so much for watching this session. Here is a little session freebie. So if you teach 3rd through 6th grade, I have included the link to the digital portfolio that I shared in this resource. You can go to the bit.ly below. That is bit.ly/digital resource bonus, and you will be able to make a copy of the 3rd through 6th grade digital portfolio. So again, thank you, thank you. I cannot say it enough. Make sure you go follow me on Instagram and check out my Teachers Pay Teachers store. I'm always trying to add stuff. I typically add a new resource about every 2 weeks, so be sure to follow along and good luck on your own journeys. Remember, I am here to help you and you can do it. You've got this. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You can always go back and fix them. So have a great, I guess, afternoon or day, everyone.